Hello YouTube, what is up? What is good? Hope y'all been in the gym. It was arm day today. We benching, baby. Yeah, we are here to talk about Aerith's FR. Aerith is great. I think it's one of my favorite units to use in the game. She's pretty broken, honestly, but I think she, like Kayn, kind of leverages the fun to use, but also kind of broken category. Anyways, before we get started, be sure to like the video. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Leave a comment down below with your plans, but also I want to hear your reductionist take on Aerith. I'm going to say Aerith is basically I'm going to keep it simple today, actually. She's basically a magic Yuffie Lena. Yeah, because the debuff evasion, but preventing the buffs, but also debuffing, you know, a Yuffie Lena magic. Yeah, that sounds right. Anyways, Kurasame is on the banner too. He's gonna see 90. But like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Member up if you haven't already, and check my bi-weekly stream, the Ranting Hour. Though not streaming this week because I got stuff to do. Anyways, let's get on with it, shall we? Aerith, if you're not familiar with her kit, she is a magic offensive support. She has burst heals, both in her skill 1 is AoE, and her skill 2 is single target. That also revives. I always forget she has the capability to revive. She has party debuff evasion with her L debuff. You just can't get debuffed, and unlike Lena, it's similar to Ignis. I guess I could have called her Ignis too. It's similar to Ignis where she doesn't put a buff on anyone, but as long as this buff is active, the party cannot be debuffed unless it's like a piercing effect, like tier 11 or whatever. She also prevents the enemy from applying buffs to themselves. This has a similar function to Yuffie EX and Vincent's BT effect. The enemy just can't buff themselves. They won't. It's pretty handy. On top of this, her debuff debuffs the enemy with attack down, defense down, and speed down. The defense down is especially fat, and she's mainly relying on her special HP attack for her damage. I think it's 2 HP attacks to get her EX back up, and her EX heals too. So she's healing all the time, she's battering the party all the time. She's a really good unit. Like, all this utility packed into one, very good. And both of her skills are dead skills, so she can charge the gauge like crazy too. Really a ridiculous unit. Now, her FR condition. It's similar to Charlotta. A little better, I'd argue, though, because she can get higher percentages. It's 40% when you use a special Brave in HP. That's where it aligns with Charlotta. But where it differs, though, it's 20% when Charlotta batteries the party. Now it's 20% when anyone batteries the party, and this does work with Sphere. So Kryl, Paladin, Cecil, not Arciela. There's you can check Tonberry Troupe probably. They got it lined up, but you can do that, so you can get 60% on anybody's turn. But on top of that, there's an additional 20% when Aerith batteries the party. So Aerith, if she does her HP attack, for example, and then the follow-up happens, Aerith will get 80% on her turns. Very, very good. And she's got high turn range. She's actually got decent damage now with her rework. I think it's like, what, 5 HP attacks on her HP plus? Very, very good, including her follow-up. So also the FR itself, if you've seen it, it's a dead skill. It heals the party and batteries the party, but it does no damage, and it's an instant turn, so you can go right into it again. So people you want to bring along with Aerith, for example, would be Rinoa. Rinoa would need a sphere to satisfy the condition, same with Charlotta. But Y'shtola, Yuna, RCL would need a sphere too. And Hope, who's coming next month, I believe, is also a very good person who can be paired with Aerith to hit the conditions, because his HP plus is going to get upgraded too. So there's something to think about if you want to run Hope. So, evaluation-wise, strengths. Aerith has insane utility. Again, debuff evasion, preventing enemies from having debuffs. Debuffing their defense, attack and speed, that's nuts too. And then all the heals she does and the revive, oh my god. And her damage is good. Sheesh. Her damage is good. She's got, I think is it 6 HP attacks on EX total? I'm including her follow-up on all this. But Aerith's got very competitive damage for someone who has as much utility as her. She's aura based. She doesn't need to buff anyone, so you can pair her with the Turn Stealer, for example, and let them go nuts. Or do whatever you need to do, but you don't need to worry about buff management. She's got the modified HP attacks that you can hit other conditions. Maybe if you want to run Charlotta's FR or something like that, she can hit those. And her LD call now applies her debuff, because this didn't apply before because she didn't start with her LD buff, but now that she does, her LD call can actually prevent the enemy from buffing themselves for 2 turns, because her debuff application, it was single target, but now it's AoE, so that's very good. Weakness wise, Aerith's artifacts, she still has the special artifacts, which are harder to farm. If you're Mog passing, you don't really care about that, but if you're free to play, those will be harder to get. They give her a giant amount of max brave and the attack up, 108 healing wind. Yes, what you wanted her. It's harder to get, so that's a con. She's got mostly single target brave damage outside of her LD. Her LD is the only AoE skill. She splashes, but it's mostly single target brave damage, so that's something to think about. and her FR doesn't do damage. Now this isn't the biggest con in the world, and you kind of tell I'm reaching. Aerith's kind of busted, but it's something to think about. Maybe if you wanted to finish, I don't know, if you wanted to do a bunch of damage, Aerith's FR, at least button, is not going to be doing that for you. All right. Now, moving on to Kurasame, finally coming back. It's been forever. Man, he is a melee offensive support, but he also does a bit of damage, so don't let the support tag confuse you. It's kind of useless anyways, to be honest, but I don't know what else to call him. Anyways, he provides party ice enchant. He also does ice damage himself. His famous debuff, I'm not going to try and say it, never mind. But the enemy takes more HP damage, up to 30%, and they get a speed down on them. He's got an ice follow-up that got a damage buff as well. Overall, he's got good damage and buffs. I think he got like, what, 20% party HP damage up, so if you stack that with the debuff, that's like, what, 50%? That was easy math. And I'm sure some stats I'm not paying attention to, but on top of the brave damage boost from hitting element weakness, and then his follow-up is 2 HP attacks. His EX and LD are 5 HP attacks. So Kurasame can be spitting out like 7 HP attacks on his EX and LD. And his skills, I think his skill 1 is 4 and his skill 2 is 3 AoE. But that adds up quickly. So Kurasame's damage is quite good. So he really leans on the offensive support. LD call, still broken. You need his EX for that. But yeah, Kurasame is, so this banner is like really looking good for LD units. And lastly, we have Alphinaud, Final Fantasy 14 moment. Look at the bottom bullet point. Alphinaud is a magic offensive support. He does have burst heals and he has party battery. He has brave and HP poisons. HP poison being kind of niche and not scaling with force time, which is unfortunate. He does prevent the party from being broken though. That's handy. He mainly relies on a special brave and HP attacks. Also, Final Fantasy 14 moment. Alphinaud's damage is a bit under par at the moment. He's a bit outdated, and he's not the new shiny on this banner, so nothing really spectacular to talk about here. But he does have those qualities. So now, wrapping it all up, what do I think about this banner? Before you pull, just giving my plans. I'm really on the fence. I'm absolutely buying Aerith's costume. That's a frame 1. Don't get it twisted there. However, I'm not sure how much I'm going to use Aerith so far. I'm leaning towards yes, I'm going to get it because I actually have better units than I did in JP because I didn't have Y'shtola built. I didn't have Charlotta. I didn't have Hope. So a lot of the I ended up running Arciella with Aerith, and I put a Paladin Cecil RF on Arciella so she could battery on her special HP attack with 3 attacks, which was nice. And then we kept the enemies basically locked down and sped down. And then I had Kain hit the condition because he's got a special brave and HP, right? He'd jump once, and then these two would like speed. Well, Aerith would high turn rate before Kain would come back down. So that was a pretty fun team to run. But outside of that, I didn't have that many other good HP attackers. So it got a little tragic very quickly. So I didn't use Aerith FR as much as I wanted to. So honestly, just now I think I talked myself into it because I do have the better characters now. I have Y'shtola fully BT plus, and she's gonna get her rework to be handy for that down the line. And it's just a different way to play. Staff is a competitive. The thing about the HP condition, special HP though, is that staff tends to lean in the direction of using those a lot. And so even if I were to run Aerith plus Y'shtola, somebody got to hold an Ultima staff, right? So just things to think about, but like Charlotta could hit those, and then Hope's got throwing, so that could be fun too. I know Alfie ran that exact team from Charlotta, Hope, Aerith for Divine Panda. So those are things to think about. I'm probably going to pull Aerith. She's Final Fantasy. Yeah, who am I kidding? I'm pulling Aerith. Fuck it. But what are my recommendations overall? I think everyone should, at minimum, get Aerith's LD and Kurasame's EX plus LD. Aerith, so let me rephrase it. Full kits for Aerith and Kurasame. Kurasame's LD call, while we are still in the midst of elemental lockouts, we're already at a half of a month through it. So that would be what? Nope, math not working. Moving on. Even for this brief blip in the game where elements aren't favored, one, ice is favored a little bit more than the other elements, at least. And second to that, still the HP damage up is still very good, just to have that as a call. He is still like a top tier call up there with Reigns, Luna, etc. even after this period. So Kurasame, if you don't have him now, you should get the call. Second off, Aerith's LD. Aerith is just really good. Just having that utility, and she ages even better. So hard recommend, yes, get these two, just do it. If you don't have Renoa's BT yet and you want it, this is probably the best banner for it. I think it's better than Balthier's banner. But down to the FR is where it gets tricky. So if you don't have the units to run Aerith's FR to get it to max potential, I wouldn't recommend getting her FR. I know people are in the mindset she's getting the BT later, and I can pick up the BT and FR there. Really, if you skip the FR, you're not missing out on much, but her FR That's one less thing to pull for later. So, you know, just a thing to think about. I think if you get it now and you don't have the means to use it to its full capacity, you don't feel the need to max it. But yeah, so I don't think I'd recommend anyone go after the FR unless you have specific units you want to run to maximize it. But 60% a turn for battering, like you gotta have the spears, or you gotta have the characters that battery while also doing that. And that's not a wide range of people, but when you do use it, it can be pretty powerful. Yeah, that's about all I got to say though. Let me know what you guys think. I've convinced myself in real time to pull for this FR. I'll catch you guys later. Good luck on your pulls and all that. Peace.